Hey everyone, it's Asha. Welcome back to Reading with Asha. For today's video, I'm going to be doing my February reading wrap up. So these are going to be all the books that I read in February. I have definitely been slacking a little bit recently with reading just because of school, but I feel like I always pick right back up in summer, and I only have pretty much like 1.5-ish more full months of school left, so I'm really excited to read so much more this summer. But this month I read 5 books, which is a lot less than I normally would read. That's okay, because it's not about how many books you read, it's about how many good books you read, and that's what really matters. So anyways, I have books here. They're annotated because 3 of them I read for school. One of them, actually pretty much all of these I read for school. Actually, I started this book as well, but I didn't finish it until March, so I won't put it until my March reading wrap up. I'm gonna tell you guys all about these books, and you've probably not heard of most of them, or you might have heard of them but haven't actually read them because, you know, they were kind of required and people don't really read them for fun, but they're all very good books in my opinion. So I'm gonna go ahead and share with you guys what I read in February. I'm an English literature major, so I had to read quite a few books for school, and that's what a majority of these are, and that's why they are annotated. Also, something good is that this month I've started off pretty good with reading, so I'm hoping to read more, and I'm gonna finish another book hopefully tonight. I want to finish it tonight. I started reading my first book by Lucy Score, and it's really good so far. I guess I only read 4 books this month. Let's start off. So first of all, we have Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. I had to read this for my World Literature and Cultures class, and this book was so good, and I absolutely loved it. So this is Trevor Noah's memoir. It's kind of also a little love letter to his mom, but it's basically about him growing up in South Africa as a child during apartheid, and I feel like a lot of people don't know what that is. At least if I learned about it in high school, I don't remember, but I never learned about apartheid till I think last semester, or I've heard of it but didn't really know what it was until last semester in my history class. So I really learned so much from this book, and I feel like so many people could learn so much from this because Trevor Noah is a comedian. In case you don't know him, he was the host of The Daily Show. He hosted the Grammys last year, and yeah, so he wrote this book in a really good kind of way, but also he did it in a very funny, non-threatening way. I'm not saying this because I get threatened by things like this, but there's a lot of people who kind of feel threatened by history or feel like they're being blamed, or I don't know. I feel like he explained it in a way of anyone can understand, and not just people who like want to put in the effort to care about it. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I obviously care about it, and I feel like everyone should read this book, and I'm pretty sure it's like on the banned books list, which is so stupid. I mean, it's literally history, but this is a really good book. If anyone wants to learn about apartheid, or you're interested in Trevor Noah or think he's funny, this book is so funny and so good, and I have a million annotations in it because we had to annotate so many different quotes and whatnot for class, but it was so good, and I feel like this is probably my favorite of the books that we've read so far in class, but I really liked it and would highly recommend. I gave it a 5 stars, which I know a lot of people don't rate memoirs, but if it's a 5-star read, I'm gonna give it a 5-star and tell you guys that. So highly recommend this book if you want to learn something. I learned so much from this book about apartheid and just so many different things that I have pretty much projected onto everyone at this point. The next book I read was The Body Project, An Intimate History of American Girls. My dog is walking around and pitter-pattering all over the floor, by the way. This is by Joanne Jacobs Brumberg, and I read this for my Girlhood and Adolescent Women and Gender Studies class. So basically in that class we study like teen girls, and it's just not women and gender studies, it's focused in girlhood, if that makes sense. So this is all about girls growing up throughout history. It compares a lot of the ways girls grew up in like the Victorian era to present day when this book was written, which I think was written in 1990s. So it's a really good book and shows so many of the differences, and I didn't realize how many pros and cons that there would be to each. Like, I just thought because it was back in the day everything was terrible and there was nothing good about it, but there's actually a lot of good kind of policies and that type of thing that they had implemented during those times that they didn't really implement, or they don't implement now. So this literally just talks about so many different subjects about growing up as a girl. So all of the different body projects, from periods and, you know, just monthly menstrual cycles and the different inventions around those, and then also when girls started getting acne, and then there became the body project of skincare, and then people start getting piercings, and just so many different kind of body projects and waist trainers and corsets, like just so many different things that are implemented that are really not necessarily necessary at all. Do it because, you know, that's just what we're used to, and played by the economy a little bit here. And she talks about that a lot in this book, and I think it was really, really good. It's definitely, I wouldn't say a tougher read, scholarly, I guess. It's not bad, but it wasn't like my favorite because I definitely, the chapters are so long, and we had to read it in chapters, and each chapter was like 50 pages or something, which is just, it was a lot. And you know what, if I was assigned like 100 pages, I would have been fine with that, but for some reason, because it was one chapter and it was like 50 pages, I hated that. So it was weird, but the book was really good and I learned so much. I think also I learned a lot because we discussed it so much in class, like every week, and then I also had to write summaries on it that had like 5 paragraphs. So I definitely absorbed a lot of information from this book. And again, all of these books that I read, I'm learning so much, and I just project my knowledge onto other people in a good way. Not like a bad projection, but a good one. You know what I'm saying? The next book that I read, another book for school, what do you know? It's Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi. Now, this book was very interesting because it is a memoir, but it's written in the form of a graphic novel. So I have never read anything like this. I've read a couple of graphic novels. I've read Heartstopper and also one called Pumpkinheads, I think. But I've never read one that is a memoir or a true story, because those are just fictional, obviously. So this is about Marjane Satrapi growing up in Iran during the Islamic Revolution. So she was young in this, and I think it's really cool because she was a child in all of the comics. So she kind of explains things in a very understandable way, but also she has this humor, and it's more of like a coming of age story. Most of the stories that we've read for this class, which this is the World Literature and Cultures class again, is a lot of coming of age stories, which I really, really enjoy those, and also enjoy them in the context of like historical situations, because personally it's easier for me to understand. So yeah, I really, really thought this was very interesting. I didn't love it because I did think her being a child helped me understand the history a little bit more, but I also think just because it was in the form of a graphic novel, it was a little harder for me to understand kind of things that were going on, because it was a lot to take in. I feel like it's easier to read a graphic novel when it's completely fictional, because it's just not that many words, and like there's a lot of words in the panels here. It was kind of a lot to take in on top of the pictures, which also helped, but it kind of counteracted it for me a little bit, and I didn't love it. I don't know, I feel like history can be difficult to teach for sure, and I think a lot of people would like it in the form of a graphic novel, if that makes sense. So it was a good book. I would probably rate it like a 3.5 stars. Still learned a lot. The last book that I read, I've actually had this for a while, and it's not, kind of more of a poetry book, I guess you could say, but it's A Gentle Reminder by Bianca Sparacino, and I saw this on TikTok probably like 2 or 3 months ago, and I've had it. I have read some of it, and I also went ahead and annotated some of it too, because the quotes are so good. But I read some of it like a couple of pages a day, and then recently I just decided why not just finish it, because it's so good, and I had a lot of fun annotating it, and I feel like I've been annotating books a little bit more. This book is so good if you are going through literally anything. It's just so many good quotes, and I feel like a lot of people have probably seen quotes from this actually on TikTok, because I always see on certain accounts post like 1 page of this book, and then people are like, what book is this? And they always say this, or there's a couple of other books as well. But it's a really, really good poetry book that deals with a lot of different things, ranging from heartbreak to loss to self-love, just being grateful, falling in love, just so many different things. I really, really, really liked it, and I would highly recommend anyone who's going through something or just wants a good little reminder book, definitely get this. I got this on Amazon. I also think the book is super cute, and I'm gonna just put it out on display because I like to keep some poetry type books on display. But I really, really like this, and I would highly recommend it. Those are all the books that I read in February, which isn't very many, but next month I will definitely have a lot more, because I've already got started off on a good foot, and I am reading another really good one, and I'm just trying to read a lot more and stay off on my phone, because I definitely act like I don't have time to read, even though I spend 25 hours every single day on my phone, which is not even possible, but you get the dramatic point that I'm trying to make here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love you all so much. I will see you in my next video. Comment down below any video recommendations that you have or any great books that you read this month. And I will see you in the next one. Bye guys. Love you.